Thanks for joining us for this Tuesday edition of Asia Business Report. I'm Rico Hizon in Singapore. After a closely fought contest, the votes are being counted in Sri Lanka, where the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is hoping to make a comeback as Prime Minister. The election commissioner said it had been the most peaceful vote since the 1970s. For more on what the result could mean for the Sri Lankan economy, I'm joined in our studios by Chris Leahy, co-founder of Blackpeak, a risk advisory company. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. All right, if Mr. Rajapaksa becomes a prime minister and Mr. Sirisena still remains as president, will they be able to work together for the good of the country?
Well, that remains to be seen. It seemed to me to be the least favourable outcome. Sirisena has made it very clear that he, as the president, he has the power to appoint the prime minister, and he will not do that if Rajapaksa gets the majority. It seems that from what I hear, that he is unlikely, Rajapaksa is unlikely to get enough votes to become the prime minister, but it's still a very early days.
So there will be political wranglings if indeed Rajapaksa becomes the prime minister. But what about for the good of the country? We've seen the economy dip in the first quarter of this year because of a slowdown in government-led construction and subdued private investment, because some of these deals during the time of Rajapaksa have been either are under investigation or have been reneged.
Well, I think what's going to be good for the Sri Lankan economy is decisive government and is clean government. And I think if we have Rajapaksa and Sirisena trying to work together, that's not going to lead to effective government. So what we need is a clear mandate, ideally, probably through a coalition. And I suspect that means that Rajapaksa probably won't be the PM. I think that if they can then get a clear mandate to govern, they can restart some of these investment projects, then the economy has a good chance to recover. I mean, it's not actually growing that slowly, it's just slowed down. It's not in bad shape.
But going forward, the administration has to be able to work not only with the Chinese, not only with the Indians, but with Western investors.
Very much so, very much so. And I think that's what investors want to see. And we see quite a lot of interest in investing in Sri Lanka in various aspects of the economy. But they do want to know that there's a level playing field. They do want to operate without corruption. So they are interested in seeing the corruption being weeded out, a lot of allegations around the previous administration, and therefore people are interested in to see what the outcome of the election is going to be.
Because Sri Lanka is one of South Asia's wealthiest economies, but it has struggled to develop new export industries to replace its traditional reliance on garments, rubber, and tea.
Yeah, so they are suffering a little bit from the agricultural commodities dependence that they have. They have a decent services economy, telecoms, infrastructure, finance, burgeoning tourism. So they have quite a lot going for them. It is one of the best performing South Asian economies, but it's still quite small. So it pales into insignificance compared with, say, Indian economy, but it's growing quite nicely. So I think they have got to try to expand the economy. They need to. You're right, tread a careful path between upsetting the Chinese, who are major suppliers for imports, and the Americans, who are a major customer for exports.
Chris Leahy, thank you so much for your insights on the Sri Lankan political landscape from the risk advisory company Blackpeak.